this would be the part, I would hope that this would be a very easy test for y'all. Even though it's 20-some pages. Yes, correct?
420, what was negative 2?
Negative 2 is 0. Yeah.
Oh, what was the answer to 19?
19 was 0.320. Abraham.
I get 5.
How did I get 5? Mostly I are correct. Should there be an X there though? Problem number 5? Oh, 3X. Okay, let's look at that one. Let's take a goose and a gander here. If you are doing this, first thing we got to do is simplify this bad boy here. What do you get if you have a negative 2x, sir? Right, so I have this negative 3x, I have a plus 2x, and a plus 4x's. Maybe it would help to do the plus part first, because addition you can do it in any order. I guess that's subtraction too, but we're actually adding the negative, so it doesn't matter. If you have 2x's and 4x's, how many x's do you have? 6 x's? And if you take 3 of those x's away, what are you left with? 3 x's. Where did we go asunder, or astray, or awry? You didn't do the negative 2x? Yeah, it's probably a good bad idea. These are the times, ladies and gentlemen. This should be a super easy test compared to the last. Carter Altenbert.
How did you get 6?
How do you get 6? Remembering when we're talking about collecting / combining like terms, they have to be the same letters to the same exponents. So the only way this connects with something is if there's another x squared. Is there another x squared there?
Yes.
My golly, there is. So you have 2 of them. It's like you have 2, you're adding 2 of those together. That's what 2x squareds have. Now you have to take 4 of those away, which you can't really tell. Well, obviously, you can only take 2 away, and then you're left with nothing. And now I have 2 negative x squared, so that's a negative 2x squared. And then here I have y squareds. I have 6 y squareds, and I'm taking 3 of them away. That leaves me with 3 to the good y squared. Does that help?
Yes.
What did you actually end up with?
4x squared minus 3y squared.
What did you do?
4x squared minus 3.
How did you get that?
I do not.
Sam, I am. Brant!
How do you get row 11?
Algebra, I don't know how to say 11. Oh, great. Why? Why is it on this page? This is
Kayla, I'm calling it. No.
Mr. Fisher!
Pardon the interruption.
Do you need sound techs?
I do.
Who are my sound tech, you guys?
Why?
So you want them down in the sound room?
No, we gotta do pictures.
Right, you want them in the sound room? So if you were a sound,
It's not,
it's as good a time as any.
you're not filming, right?
We are filming. But it'll end up, you can see how it sounds without.
Thankfully, it doesn't like turn around. It's like that.
Yeah, if I had a mirror, we could do it. Wait, Brant, is this you, 11?
Yes.
A falcon flies at a speed of 114,400 yards per hour. How fast does a falcon fly in miles per hour? Here's what should be done, children. If this confuses you at all, this is all about changing the labels, Brant. Did you happen to write this down? 114,400 what? Yards. What does the word per mean? It's a fraction line per 1 hour. That's what 114,400 yards per hour. How fast does it fly in miles per hour? I need to change yards, Brant, into miles. So how am I going to do that?
Yards on the bottom.
Thank you very much. Yards on the bottom and miles on top. Then the rough part here would be, do you know how many yards are in a mile? Which you may want to jot down. It's 1,760. If you didn't know that, how many of you didn't know that? if you didn't know that, then I would suppose you could change this into feet first and then change feet into miles. You know what I'm saying? Watch the beauty of the mathematical world here. I'm gonna do this a separate way. And then it's gonna get ugly because of the multiplication and division, but I can't change that. If I did not know that there's 1,760 yards amount, I could change this to feet first by changing yards into feet. There are 3 feet in 1 yard, and now I've changed it into feet. And then most people know how many feet are in a mile. There are 5,280 feet in a mile. Which means you end up taking this times this divided by that. Is there a simpler way to do that? There's probably got to be something. Wade says, let's see how easily we can do this, because you have to get an answer, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right, let's look at this. First thing I would do is say, okay, these both end with a 0, so I would get rid of this and get rid of this, because you're dividing both by 10. Does 3 go into this? 528? It does. How do I know? Sum of the digits. Yes. So I'll divide 3 into this and get 1. 3 goes into this. 12276. Whew. Now what else could I do? So this is gone. I could cut these both in half. Half of this is, anybody know what half of that is?
What?
Half of 176? 88. Half of this would be what? Half of 11 is 5, 7, 20. I could take half of this and get 44. Take half of this and get, oh boy, 2860. Half of this and get 22. Half of 2860, 1430. Half of this and get 11. This would be what? 715. Uh-oh. You think 11 goes in 715? Come on, Wade, work with me.
11 to 715.
6 would be 66. What am I on? Oh, 55, are you kidding me? Or you could have just multiplied this times this and divided by that, it doesn't really matter. But the unfortunate thing, children, is you are in 8th grade, so you know sometimes the math is, did I do it wrong? Was that wrong?
They said how many yards were in a mile on the paper.
Yeah.
Oh. Brayak, why did you continue to let me go through that? Anyways, it was a good lesson if you didn't know how many yards were in a mile. Wow. That's it, 2 questions?
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
so we are so far on why does boy have a Bennett thing taped to his shoe?
So I'm going to bed.
And what's your, what number?
Number, where'd it go? 3.
Number, number 3. Let's just say for number 3, did you put parentheses and such like you've been instructed numerous times by the teacher?
I did.
Okay. Let me make sure I get this. Alright. And again, this is one of those where the more room you take, I think the better off you are. So here's how I do it. Big parenthesis, A, B, big parenthesis, plus big parenthesis, A, B, C, big parenthesis. Filling in the blanks, A is -2, B is 2, and C is -2. Did you get all that?
Yes.
So you just gotta simplify both of them and add them together, correct?
Yes.
What is -2 times 2?
-4.
-4. How many negatives do we see here? 2, so my answer is positive. 2 times 3 is?
Number 12.
And -4 plus 12 is? 8.
Wait, that seems so easy. What did I do wrong?
Don't know.
I got negative. That's the backside side.
I know. I gotta read it on the back side.
8!
Can you go back to 11?
I could, but it would be kind of counterproductive at this point. Why didn't you tell me you wanted that? I would have gone to a different one. Did you write it out like this?
Oh, yeah.
Go back here.
Did you make this a fraction, Abram? 114,400 yards per hour, and you're just changing out the label. Yards crosses off here, miles go there. It tells you, by the way, in case you missed it, 1,760 yards. So it's just dividing that into that. Oh, you took, oh yeah, okay.
He's just eliminating us.
Did you
one
just
by
not
one.
want to do that? Evelyn,
Number 9, I keep messing up.
Really? You have to go back to it.
Yeah, I'm still doing it wrong.
well, ladies and gentlemen, here, this is just kind of, you know that this is negative, this is negative, this is negative. This parenthesis doesn't mean anything, plus or minus is just a minus. So as a general rule, I outlined, basically what you're gonna do is add up these three, and that's how many negatives you have. And this is how many positives you have. You have to find the difference of those, so it's gonna end up being a subtraction problem at that point, because these are all negatives, that's positive. To find the difference in the negatives and the positive, you have to subtract it, and your answer is gonna end up being negative. Why? Because there's more negatives than positive. You know what I'm saying? You with me here? So you have to actually, even though there's negative signs in front of it, you're gonna add to get how much negative you are. Negative 2.86, 3.24, 4.71. These are all negatives. You add all those together, which is 1.8 plus 10. This is how much you are to the bad, I hope. 6, 9, 10. Okay, and this is how much you have to the good. You know, if you owe somebody $10.81 and you have $6.62, to figure out how much you still owe them, you have to subtract those two amounts. 10.81 minus 6.62, 914, and that's going to be negative. Was that what the answer was?
Yes.
Where wert thou going astray? Oh, Abram. Faith.
Why wouldn't you, in parentheses, why wouldn't you multiply?
Really what you're doing,
4.71.
no. This would have to also be in parentheses. If there's ever a subtraction or addition sign that's not included in a parenthesis, these two things don't get multiplied together, they get added. This parenthesis really only means you multiply the plus times the minus here. It's really a positive 1 times a negative, whatever that is, which ends up just being a negative 3.24. You know what, the way you would multiply this times that, this would have to also be in parentheses like that. Otherwise, it's just adding and subtracting. Welcome to the wonderful world of confusion in math. Those are things you just recognize as you start doing more of this stuff. I can't say there's an, I understand it's, and they throw a lot of extra symbols and signs in there that you never really use.
I don't get 18 at all.
Well, I have a suspicion that you get at least some of it, you just don't get it. Yeah, this one, don't overthink this. They're just asking you to translate a word sentence into a mathematical expression. There's no way you get equal signs because it doesn't tell you anything it equals. It just wants you to write in algebraic form or in math form. Oh wait, I guess they want you to write it in words. You're changing, what does m minus 9 mean? You could have just wrote that.
I wrote that as well.
M minus 9 would be fine. But you also have to recognize that you could subtract 9 from n. Or you could say, the difference of m and 9. What else is, what was one of the other options? What else did I say? 9 less than m. Really, I wouldn't worry about that because you'd be able to justify just about anything, unless you put them in the wrong order. Parker, I can only imagine.
10.
Which one?
10.
children, 10. 8, 9, 10. We're gonna do a little subtraction here. Ordination. All right, Parker, here's the deal with this. This is where most people go wrong. Everybody take a look up here because most of you have fallen into this trap at least one point in your life. All right, most people go wrong in that they add these two things together before they multiply this times whatever they get there. You can't do that because order of operations say the very last thing you'll do is add. Okay? Because all of this is in a grouping symbol, this all has to be simplified first. And then that gets multiplied by this because that's next in order of operation. And that answer then gets added to 3. So I don't know what you did if you did that, but that's usually where people go wrong. So you end up with 3 plus 2. Breaking down the grouping symbol. Inside the grouping symbols, you still follow order of operations. The first thing you should do there is parentheses. And parentheses don't always mean distributive property. Sometimes you just combine them. 5 plus 3 is 8. So you end up with 8 squared minus 6. Then inside grouping symbols, you have to do exponents and powers. So the next thing you're going to do is square 8, which is 64. Then you subtract the 6 from the 64, which is 58. And this is usually where people go, oh, 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5, no, you can't do that. You have to do 2 times 58 first, because that's order of operations. 116, and then add 3 to 116, you get 119. Where did you go wrong, Parker?
I don't think you did.
You didn't go wrong? Did you get 119 as an answer? Did you just want to see if you had this problem?
I just want to make sure that I wouldn't screw up my test.
That's a good idea. That shows a lot of responsibility on your part. I remember days when Parker would not care. Do you remember those days?
Yeah.
That was like last week.
Yeah.
Children and the other ones. Otherwise, I will continue to make this the best 119. This guy, something out there, something. Everything else, you all got. Whoa. Should not have done that.
Wow.
Oh, no. Tell me that doesn't create havoc with your eyes.
Amazing.
Black is always a good color to use inside this thing.
Pull back.
Ladies and gentlemen. Parker, I knew there'd be something, yes.
19.
19. If a softball player hits 8 and 25 at bats, at this point in the problem, I would probably actually write that down. This person is getting 8 out of 25 hits. We call that what type of probability? That's experimental. It's what really happens. It's really hard to get theoretical probability with something that isn't mathematical, like shots made or hits, because there's no real way to put a number on somebody's ability to hit the ball. You just have to go with it. What is the this is the girl. What is the probability she will get a hit in the next at bat? Well, I'm sorry, there it is. Oh, express your answer as a decimal to the 1,000th place. So you just have to change this to a decimal in the 1,000th place. Which means you would do what? I would just divide it out, probably. To change a fraction to a decimal, I mean, there's a couple different ways, but I would just take 25, bottom number into the top number, into 8, and then you you have to go to the thousands place, tenths, hundredths, thousands. So 25 goes into 80 3 times. 25 goes into 50 twice. And unfortunately, your answer would be wrong if you put that. Why? Because that's only to the hundredths place. Even though it worked out, it said to go to the thousands place. Why do you suppose they told you to do that? Because batting averages children. You know, if somebody's batting 320, that's what it is. That is your average score. 320 hits out of 1,000. I think a softball player gets up 1,000 times. Does a baseball player get up 1,000 times in a baseball season? Probably not. What are they playing baseball?
Connor Westphal isn't here.
There's only 100 what?
You play baseball, you should know this.
Professional players play what, 160 games or something like that?
Do you not pay attention?
Multiply that, if you're lucky, you get up 4 times. So you might get up, what, 500 times, 600 times? Anybody else? Before I let it be duly known that I bet. Parker!
What does it mean by closed?
Oh, why didn't, yeah, I'm surprised nobody else asked me that, even though I think we talked about it this year. What problem? So I can go over. Huh? 14. What does it mean to be closed? Anybody want to handle that? Anybody go?
I can kind of think.
Is the set of whole numbers closed under subtraction? Evelyn, an easy way to explain it, because I don't really have one. I'll let you give it a shot.
If you subtract a whole number by another whole number, will you get a whole number?
Always. Closed means that you have to be talking about sets of numbers, and we're talking about whole numbers. So you have to understand what the set of whole numbers are. Whole numbers are,
1, 2, 3.
well, 0, I think it starts with 0, does it not?
Not say, yeah, that is.
0, 1, 2, 3, and it goes on forever this way. And you have to understand what whole numbers are not. Whole numbers are not fractions, whole numbers are not decimals, whole numbers are not negatives. When they say closed under subtraction, what they're saying is there any subtraction problem you could make with whole numbers that the answer will not be a whole number? Okay, it's closed if there's no other, your only choice is to get a whole number. For example, 3 minus 2 is 1. Whole number, whole number, whole number. So as of right now, it works. And I would say, yes, it is at this point. But I have to keep trying things. And if I try this and I go, oh, 7 minus 8, 7 minus 8 is a negative 1. Negative 1 is not a whole number, so it is not closed. Closed means you're always going to get a whole number no matter what. And that's why that's what this word means here. A counterexample means an example that proves something is false. You have countered. It's like in the debate with J.B. Pritzker and Bruce Rauner. When you try to prove their statement false, you give a counterpoint to that. Like, did J.B. really take every toilet out of his mansion? I don't know. Maybe he left one.
You
for
put
the
it
help.
back in.
Did he?
Yeah.
And technically, you don't really always need a toilet because the hole would still be in the floor. As long as you've got pretty decent aim, you can drop your stuff right in that hole. Really, you don't need to flush. That would be an interesting proposition, but it could be done. Be good if you had a 5-gallon pail of water next to you too, so you could
GB is on to
kind of flush it out or
something.
something.
I think you're on to something, Mr. Khan.
They should just make like vacuum tubes coming up from the floor, and you just kind of plop yourself there, just like at the bank.
Oh my gosh, $1 million right there.
Like your deposit at the
I
bank.
take your
That's
test
a little vacuum thing that just.
Honestly, I've thought of that before, but I just
Nah,
thought of
sure,
so many
yeah.
health issues that
Someone's tried it and then went to the hospital.
I just drive with a vacuum.
Oh, well, the vacuum.
Yeah,
The cleanup is a little tough. Other ones.
It's a vacuum.
Other ones. Are you ready?
May I have the band numbers?
Band.
And Abram's not here.
And they're in 8th graders.
Good, because we are wrapping up math. That is perfect. Band. I don't even know.
Abram is still with Mr. Fisher.
Go tell him, make sure you, well, but he would be there. Alright, I'm wrapping, we are closed now.
Parker.